What's going on, guys? How y'all feel, man? It's another glorious Tuesday night, man. You tune into the Male Translations podcast, where we break down the difference of what men say and women hear, give men a voice, give women insight on relationships, the men's voice when it comes to relationships. I'm your host, Mr. Male Translations, Clarence Brown. And man, like I said, it's another great Tuesday night, man. So everybody that's tuned in, that's locked in right now, man, let me know where you from. Let me know who you are. Let me give you a just due, man, for stopping in with me for a short while. While you're on your way this Tuesday night, and got another great topic for you guys tonight, man. Just wanted to chop it up on some things, man. I've been going over the past couple weeks, man. It's been a while, man. So like I said, man, if it's been a minute, man, let me know where you at. Let me know who you are. So we can give you some love, man. If you out there in YouTube land, make sure you hitting that subscribe button. Make sure you also hitting that notification bell and getting notified whenever we drop video content. So tonight, before I'm not even gonna hold y'all too long, but go ahead and spit my piece and get on out your way, man. We're gonna talk about the top 5 reasons men cheat, right? So of course, these are some of the things that have been the most consistent when it comes to why men might have stepped outside a relationship, might have entertained something on the side, what have you. And so, we're gonna chop it up on those 5 reasons real quick, and like I say, we're gonna keep it moving. And so normally when I do topics like this, a lot of people, want to know, well, what's the reason? What's the reason? You know what I mean? If anything, just kind of poke your head in and open up an ear for a little while just to say, okay, well, what are you really saying real quick before I move on? And, of course, let's put this disclaimer out there. All right. So, of course, we know men cheat, but at the same time, let's be honest, women cheat as well. And, it's debatable on if it's more than men or if it's better than men. But the point is that this is not a one-sided situation. This is not a one-sided affair. Okay. So when we think about a person cheating in a relationship, a man cheating in a relationship, of course, we always gonna get that stigma first, because of course, you know, we've been a little bit sloppy, not a little bit, but we've been really sloppy as men when it came to how we move. So of course, we've gotten that bad rap and we get that narrative. What's happening, Jeff? How you feeling, brother? And so but I just want to put that out there as a man, because of course I already know, we get that label of y'all all gonna do wrong, y'all all gonna cheat, this, that, and the third. But what for whatever effect, there's already going to be a cause that's in play, a reason, a motivation behind whatever happens. And so I want to give that real reason, and like I said, explain a little bit in detail as much as I can, and then get on out your way. So of course, without further ado, let's chop it up, right? So now these are not in any particular order, but at the same time, these are all, I feel, equally as important. And like I said, the most consistent things that you hear from men. And when it comes to what would provoke them, what would motivate them to entertain such situations outside of their own relationship. And women want to know, and fellas, you know what I mean, let me know if this is cash or this is trash, if this is something that y'all feel is real, if it's something that you endure, something that you dealt with, maybe currently or in the past, just to be completely transparent and honest. And again, what I have might not be on everybody's list. If it's something that you feel need to be added, add that. All right. So I'm gonna start with the first here of top 5 reasons men cheat. All right. So, and also make sure y'all get your apparel, man. I got some new shirts, man. Right now I got some Natural Born Leader shirts. This is my white version right here. Got a yellow, got black, got different colors, different flavors. Step outside the mold, man. Don't go with a path that's already made. Create a path of your own, man, and leave a trail for somebody else to follow. Be a natural born leader. You already know, man. So that is something that I'm really, really big on right now. And so I'm really pushing that, man. You already know, product placement. If y'all like the shirt, man, if y'all want to grab something, you can go on mailtranslation.com and grab your shirts. But yeah, okay. So boom, let's go ahead and get into it, right? Top five. So number one on this list, like I said, not number one in terms of importance, but number one in terms of the group of five when we think about why men step outside a relationship. One of the most consistent things that men hear from other men, whether it be friends, family, men out inside your circle, maybe one of your closest road dogs, guys. When we had these conversations, what I hear consistently from men when it comes to what made them do, what women would call the ultimate betrayal and what have you, is number one, lack of respect and appreciation in his household. Okay. Lack of respect and appreciation in his household. Okay. So there's I talked about a topic in the past where I said I talked about what would make a man cheat when he's happy, right? So of course, the whole punchline was that, is a man really happy or is he just keeping the peace? Okay. Now, of course, as a man, it's been plenty of times where I have to be the bigger man and keep the peace, or just be the more mature person out of the two with a certain situation or disagreement. As a man, I have to be the guy who just swallows my pride sometimes, and just to be a leader has to just take some stuff that sometimes it feels like, what, why should I have to, right? So I understand that. But when a man feel like those efforts aren't being respected and appreciated, then that opens up the door for other people who show that level of appreciation for that man to be seen and be able to stand out more, especially when he's going through something in his relationship or in his household where the respect and appreciation seems to have disappeared and evaporated. Okay, sometimes things are great at one point, and all of a sudden, for long periods of time, it just seems to change. And ladies, y'all know it's, y'all can say, hey, we are like, whatever y'all gonna say, that's cool. But just acknowledge that there are long periods of time where you start to look at things and say, man, what has changed, and is it going to ever get better? Is it going to ever return to the way it was? Whatever that reason is, a man can find himself in a relationship where in a marriage where he sees that the respect and appreciation has just disappeared and evaporated in his own household. And with that being said, then he's feels the need to seek that approval from somewhere outside of his home. Now, we're not talking about what's right or what's wrong. Okay, I'm just talking about what's real. I'm just bringing y'all the real. Let y'all chop up that, however you feel, and let the cards fall where they may. So I'm just going to give you what, like I said, is some of the most consistent things men say when it comes to what makes them cheat. Now, it's not, like I said, on every person's list, but these are the things that I hear a lot. And if it's not something that you heard, hey, comment your piece, man. Let's chop it up in the comment section and let's do it like that, right? So lack of respect and appreciation. Okay, so I've said this before. When it comes to lack of appreciation, ladies, this is one way how side women infiltrate your relationship. Right now, of course, women would say, "Hey, a man gonna do what he gonna do. A man does what he want to do. This and that and the third, and place it all on the man." And okay, that if you want to fall in that category, that's fine. But I'm the person that believes that there's a level of accountability on even the other party when someone decides to go from, hey, it's all well and good, and we on the same page, to all of a sudden, something just happens to where not now we're not on the same page. And so when a person feels that appreciation is not there, that's how other people infiltrate your situation. And so what happens nowadays a lot of times is where you have women with a lot of pride that don't want to do things that continue to show that they're putting their heart and effort and feet into the relationship 10 toes down, and doing what they need to do to show and prove as a woman. And all of a sudden now when things start to happen, then all of a sudden it's like, nah, it ain't my fault. Well, it could very well be your fault. No different than it be a man and a woman feeling like, hey, she's feeling lack of appreciation, a lack of support, a lack of love and romance and things of that nature. You hear all the time. Like I say, right or wrong, you hear it, right? So we're not gonna just discount it off the fact that, oh, well, it should be like this. Well, yeah, it's a lot of things it should be, but we're gonna talk about what it is. And so when men speak about, what's making them look at another woman a different way than he might have when he was happy in a relationship, now he's saying, hey, well, listen, you know what? Like, I'm not, I'm not a pure man. I'm not perfect, but at the same time, man, if things were better in my household, maybe I wouldn't even see this person like I see them now, where before I wasn't even looking, right? So let's move on to number 2. Okay, so we talking about the 5 reasons why men cheat. Okay, so we're gonna go to number 2, right? We talked about number 1 being a lack of respect and appreciation in his household. When he feels like he can't get any just due, when he feels like every time he says something, it's being rebutted, it's being undermined, it's being, it's being rejected, and it's almost like he has no say so. He has no power in any way, no oversight or leadership role where he feels like that he's respected, where when he says something, people are giving him, some level of credence behind what he's saying and acting on what he's asking for, things of that nature, right? So then we go to number 2, sporadic and inactive sex life. Okay. Number 2 reason why men cheat, and ladies, like I said, whether you want to see this as right or wrong, or if you want to just say, I'll just take and absorb what I'm being told and I move on and eat the fish and spit out the bones, as they say. Okay, great. Sporadic and inactive sex life is one of the main things men say triggers them to start looking at other women differently. Because why? Well, he has a buildup of testosterone. He's in a household where he's attracted to a woman physically, but doesn't seem to have any activity when it comes to on a physical or sexual or romantic type of level. And all of a sudden, all of that energy is pent up and built up. And he's like, man, listen, we gotta figure something out about this, right? And fellas, y'all know how it is, bro. Sometimes it's like, man, listen, you trying to do right, but your body is, is really weak, right? And it's nothing like, just be real. Let's be honest. Sometimes your body is weak and you trying to focus on what you need to focus on. Hey, listen, I love my wife, love my kids, we're trying to build. And hey, listen, we building, breaking generational curses. We building families. And you know what? Hey, listen, all that is good. But at the same time, sometimes your body get weak. And ladies, you'll have to understand that as a man, no matter how strong he is, sometimes his body gets weak. Sometimes he's like, man, listen, I have you. We're supposed to be physically connected. We're supposed to be spiritually connected and you name it, mentally and everything. But when it comes to this, like, this is a need and desire that needs to be fulfilled and taken care of as well. And we're not just going to overlook that. Like, we're adults. Like, we're not just going to act like, I'll just sit here and, how many days, no matter how many days I have to wait. Like, listen, that plays on a man's mind, especially when a man has been sexually active before, which at this age, above 30s, we know what time it is, right? So now when you in a relationship, when you in a household, when you in a marriage with a person where you have been physically active, and then now it just seems to wash up, you're like, man, this is not where it's at. Or where it's just a situation where for just long periods of time, you have these sporadic long breaks. You have these, fellas, the I'm tired, I'm not in the mood, things like that, where, okay, hey, listen, you know what? Once or twice or here and there, we could understand. And it's not just saying once at all, but I understand over time, there's periods where you may feel like, hey, listen, I don't have the energy. My mind is focused on other things. I got things that I'm trying to take care of and whatever. Okay, great. We can be mature and patient at the same time. But let's look at it too and not have these long breaks, these long periods where it's like, we didn't even agree on this. I didn't know like this was supposed to be a thing. Like, these type of things happen where as men, ladies, we speak among each other and we're saying to ourselves like, like who co-signed this? Who authored this? Like, what? This is not it. So my bro Jeff says 2 variables. I always say and have experience where alcohol in situations, sometimes it has nothing to do with being unhappy, but situations where a woman comes on to a guy and him thinking my old lady will never find out. Now that's very true. That's very true. But I'm willing to believe that as men, you know what, like if we getting what we need at home, we don't really need like we don't even have the energy, we don't even have the desire, like, and there's some guys, I mean, I'm talking about in mass, I'm not talking about every individual guy, because of course that, like, that's almost like counting grains of rice, right? Separating grains of rice. But at the same time, I feel over time, or overall should I say, if a guy's getting what he needs at home, for the most part he's not really needing anything else to where he's like, man, I gotta have this and I gotta have that. I gotta, and like I said, there are some guys out there like that. But overall, like I said, when we think about the most consistent things we hear, one is lack of appreciation and respect in his household in some form of fashion, where he just feel like he can't get no just due, he can't get no act right. Like, and it's just okay. Number two, that sporadic inactive sex life where it's like, hey, once or twice a month type stuff, or you know, and then when you do have interaction, all of a sudden it's not pleasant, because it's almost like y'all either just like, let's just get it over with. Like, listen, I've heard a lot of scenarios where it's not just cut and dry, where it's just like, okay, well, if you do this, then everything clears up. If you do this, then you ain't got to worry about it no more. Like, I think it a lot of times in my past experiences, I've seen couples where it's so many layers to it, to where it's like, as soon as you clear one thing up, then something else from the past. Well, what about this too? Because then that bothered me, and then it's like y'all going on and on and on, because there's so much more to just oh yeah, I was just tired that one time and he didn't understand, and then now we at odds. So number three. Okay, so we talked about one is lack of respect and appreciation. Two, sporadic and inactive sex, like these long breaks here and I ain't in the mood, I'm tired all the time, different excuses, different reasons why, just you don't really feel like it, right, ladies? So that plays on a man's mind, and all of a sudden, then he starts to feel like he's being connected or attracted to other people when they start to come on to him, when they make him feel good and appreciate and make him feel like a man, where he's feeling like that space is not being fulfilled and that role is not being fulfilled in his life. Hey, call it what you want, right or wrong, but it's real. Number three is he can't talk to you without offending you, right? You too sensitive to criticism. Okay, can't talk to you without offending you. You're too sensitive to criticism, and so it's one of those things where, as men, when we have these conversations, we're trying to come up with solutions for our dogs. We're trying to come up with some type of fix or some type of remedy for a situation where he may be expressing what's going on in his life or whatever. Now, someday, why y'all telling our business? Y'all do it too. Y'all do it too. I've been married long enough to know y'all do it too. Y'all be spreading business. Y'all be talking to y'all cousins and aunties and friends, and don't say nothing, girl. And like, who told you to tell her all that, right? So don't try to down us men, talking about, say, hey, why y'all talking about our relationship behind our back? You talking about me? Y'all do it too. That's a fact. All right, but he can't talk to you is the problem. So when it comes to certain things that he feel like he's lacking, or he feel like he still needs, he feels like that he's not getting out of you, sometimes he may have good enough read on you to know that if he started to say certain things, express certain feelings, that you're going to turn it around, twist it on him, and make it a problem that he has, where it's not a problem that you need to fix, but it's a problem that he needs to fix. So no matter how he feels about it, it's not something that where you're like, hey, you know what? Thank you for telling me that. I just always want to have an open line of communication in our relationship. So I just thank you for being honest and transparent. Like, you don't hear that, right? As a man, what you do hear is, oh, so that's how you feel. Oh, so that's where we at now. Oh, so don't let me get on some of the stuff that I be seeing and some of the things that you be like. See that? You twist it, you turn it, you make it to where it's a problem where it's not a problem that you may need to fix, where he says, hey, some things I recognize that I would like to have improved, and you change them. No, it's twisted on him to where it's something that he needs to fix and change. And no matter his problem, it's his problem to fix. So can't talk to you. So now here's number 4. All right. So number 4 is that there are some men that are not strong enough or not mature enough, not, as Pastor Doja would say, battle tested enough to pass up on certain temptation. All right. So a lot of women would say, hey, listen, why aren't men, just able to, I turn down guys all the time. Yeah, because you have the ability to, given the fact that you've given so many opportunities to take up on a man's offer, to where when you turn it down, it's just like after a while you just like, that's nothing because I do it all the time. But for a man, it's not that simple because he's not given those opportunities so much to where it's like he can just turn it down all the time, right? Now, so when you have a man who does turn it down, he's strong, he's battle tested, he's strong enough, he's at a point in his life where it doesn't matter that a woman may be coming on to him. He recognizes that, hey, I don't got to take every opportunity that comes my way because I already know what's important to me. And not every guy knows that. Not every guy feels that way. Not every guy is in that particular space mentally, physically, or in relation to you, ladies. So when it comes to what you feel like he should do, not every guy is at that point. Not every guy is strong enough. Now, the problem is you don't find that out until later on in the relationship, because these are not the things that you can speak your way to. You can speak your way into or out of. So a man can't just say, hey, I'm like this. And it's just like, okay, cool. We know he's a respectable, honorable guy because he said these things, right? No, it's only his actions that are going to prove if he's strong enough, if he's able to, look beyond what may be coming in his immediate face and in his space at that moment, and still be able to see beyond that and say, okay, well, nah, but this is the bigger picture that I'm really looking at, and that allows me not to be moved by this little, interaction right here just because I feel like you coming on to me. Now I'm like, oh, okay, she feeling the player. Let me go ahead and just capitalize on this opportunity, right? So when it comes to why men cheat, it's not that it's that men are just so bad all the time. It's just that not every guy is in a position where he's able to just look beyond. Like I said woman that may step to his face, may make a pass at him, may make him feel a certain type of way to where, like I said, he's triggered. And this is something that I've heard from guys that have done dirt in the past and now feel like, okay, well, I'm beyond that now. So when I'm spoken to guys that like, you know what, when I was at this age and stage in my life, like I just saw women differently, to where even when I'm in a relationship, it's just like, man, another woman come on to me, or I see an opportunity for me to engage with a woman, and all of a sudden it's like, well, might as well, right? And then he grew to a certain point where he was like, okay, well, I already see this developing. I already see this interaction materializing into something. Let me just go ahead and move the other way because I'm at a place and space in my life where that don't matter to me no more. But until he get to that point, of course, he's going to be susceptible to, falling down to the temptation, falling by the wayside. And so when we talk about why men cheat, 5 reasons, it's not all about women, and it's not all about men being so bad and we habitually going to repeat this same repetitive, destructive, cycle. No, it's just that in life, these are how things happen, to where if you can take a moment to understand them, then you can see it more clearly and have more respect for what is actually happening, so that you can be able to move accordingly. Because sometimes what happens is we overlook these things, and it's vice versa, both ways. We overlook these things and not find them important until it's too late. And then all of a sudden now we're going back and saying, it could have been different. We should have done this. This could have been better. But in the midst of it, you don't see it because you acting it out. You living it out. So when we talk about the 5 reasons why men cheat, when the number 5 reason, like I said, these are all important. When we go back over and we talk about number 1, lack of respect and appreciation. in his household, not feeling valued, not feeling respected, not feeling like he has any level of just overall respect, just respect. Number two is that sporadic, that inactive sex life. That when you, as a man, when you're in a relationship, you like, man, listen, like we need to get through these patches, these dry patches, because these things affect me more than it affects you. And there are some women that are like men and to feel like, hey, listen, my drive is on this level. Okay, great, but in mass, more times than not, you have women that are in a relationship that, hey, listen, say I want to be in a monogamous relationship, but at the same time, I don't always have the energy to be on go and be ready when he's ready. And sometimes I need for him to be patient with me, right? And that's fine, but recognize that those things affect him more than they affect you. And so now we go to number three, him not being able to talk to you without offending you. Sometimes, ladies, y'all will say, hey, it's about how you say things. And if you say it the right way, and if you would have just worded it differently, things would have been better. And it sounds well and good if it were really that simple. And let's be honest, it's based upon so many factors. If you take whatever he says, ladies, with a grain of salt and say, you know what, I can swallow my pride. I can see that this thing is true, or what you're saying has some merit to it, and I'm gonna try to improve that, right? What I've seen in my marriage, and I've seen this in counseling sessions with other couples and married folks, is it's not that simple. It's not that simple. It's not that easy. And actually, the more time you have in with each other, it seems to be the more difficult it becomes. And so when it comes to being able to criticize or even speak to something that may may be of dissatisfaction, all of a sudden, all those things, are like you saying this and the other thing that happened, and you bringing back old things, and you doubling down on something that happened years ago. And it's almost like, listen, I didn't mean to do any of those things. I just expressing a feeling strictly off of what's happening right now, but yet it's like almost like it's been compounded by all of this time and all of these things we done gone through. And so when a man is feeling like he can't speak to you, he can't say anything to you, because no matter what he says or how he says it, it comes across offensive. Well, that's a problem, because now you can't communicate. And it's all based upon how you feel it should be said, how you feel he should express it. And sometimes we ain't got time for that, because sometimes you feel a way and you feel like you need to express it just how you feel, not how it needs to be approved inside of the ears of a woman. No, you feel like sometimes I got to say how I need to say this. Number four is some guys are just not in a space in their life where they're able to look beyond that temptation, and not able to withstand a woman coming on to them, and just being able to say, hey, thank you for the compliment. Thank you for the interest, or whatever the case may be. But, I'm going to keep my focus on what I got going on and what I'm doing right now. And I'm not going to let this move me, but I appreciate it. You know what? Hey, grateful for that. But at the same time, like I said, my focus is on what I'm doing, what I got going on. So, like I said, right or wrong and different, as certain guys, and it's like I said, I've heard it, and we all know over time, certain things that were important to you no longer become important to you. Or the way you see life when you was in your 20s is not the same you see it in your 30s, and not the same you see it from 30 to 40. So all of those things are true and come into play when it comes to a man not being in a place or of strength, especially when he may feel like he's weak, especially if he's not getting the respect or the love or the romance or the just consistent physical activity that he needs to have, consistent sex, period. So when all of those things happen, yeah, these things take a toll and play a role in a man's mind. And number five, last but not least, is what you need becomes so important that what he needs is not important to you. I'm gonna say that again. What you need, ladies, is becomes so important that what he needs is no longer important to you. Why is that important? The reason why it's important is because what ends up happening over time is resentment is built up. Okay, what happens over time is a man starts to feel like what he wants out of the relationship is of no value to you. Because when he starts to express how he feels about certain things he may be dissatisfied or discontent about, or he may feel critical about, or he may feel like, hey, I just can't get any resolve in this certain area, it's almost as if those things fall on deaf ears. And to him, what it seems like is as if your needs are so important to where his needs are no longer important to you. And so now it's a problem because these things over time make it very hard for him to coexist with a woman that makes him feel like what he needs is not important to her. Now, that's 5 reasons, okay? 5 reasons, okay, why men would venture off, would desire, would feel like, hey, listen, you know what? Ah, I'm trying to do right, but it just seems to be more difficult than it just may seem. And the reasons being are these 5 reasons: lack of respect, appreciation, sporadic and inactive sex life, can't talk to you without being able to express how he feels and you not taking offense to it, right? Some guys just not being battle tested, not being ready, not being able to see beyond a temptation in front of them, or a woman that may be attractive to them that may be showing signs that she's open to some type of engagement, right? And number 5, that he feel like your needs are so important that his don't even matter to you no more. And over time, these things start to wane on a guy. And so, of course, you would have some women who would say this, all right? If he's unhappy, if he's discontent, if he's all of these things, why don't he just leave? Why don't he just leave? Okay. And here's the thing. What happens is that you have a lot of guys that in a relationship that still feel like he have faith that something's going to change, something's going to get better. It ain't just women that feel like, hey, you know what, I'm still going to have faith and I'm still just going to believe that, things can improve. It's not just it's men too. Okay. But sometimes we get caught up, and even in the process, the reason why we don't leave, quote unquote, is because he feels like, hey, you know what, I'm still having faith that things gonna get better. And what ends up happening is he's still feeling like, hey, listen, you know what, I don't want to leave all of this stuff that we built up just because of something, but he may do something that ends it all because of his actions, and I understand that. And that's what happens sometimes with certain relationships. But historically, women leave relationships way more than men anyway. When it comes to a dissatisfaction or some type of thing that's happening, more than likely a woman will leave the relationship before the man will. Okay. Whether you want to say she leaves mentally or she does leave physically and said, I'm fed up, I'm done, I'm at my wit's end, I'm out. Most of the time, women are going to lead a relationship more than men. But a man stays because he feels like, you know what, something maybe can improve, and I'm going to give it some time, right? And so this is why a man doesn't just leave. And here's the thing: if he leaves or not, will it make a difference is the question. Because what happens with a lot of women is that when he does something wrong, that overshadows anything that she might have been doing wrong, or anything that she might have been doing that could have led to him making that mistake, if it was something like that may have happened. Because no matter what happens, when those betrayals happen, nothing else matters to a woman. And for a lot of women, the majority of women, you're not going to want to hear whatever he has to say regardless, because you're going to be so hurt and devastated that you'll make up all of these reasons that combat anything he tells you that says this could have been it. This could have been the real reason. This was the real reason why. And you'll say to yourself, nah, I don't believe it. It was something else. It was this. It was you. It was really these reasons. And then now you carry those things and beliefs into your next relationship and repeat the same cycle, not knowing that, hey, I could have been fixing something that in this circumstance, even though I wasn't the wrong party, even though I wasn't the one that did wrong, I can learn from this mistake, even if it was his mistake, and say, okay, well, in this new relationship, I'm going to find ways to improve what may have been. Because even if I felt hurt, I could still keep an open ear to what things might have been said, so I can at least be able to say, okay, well, you know what? I might not fix them for you. I may not be willing to do better for you, but in this next relationship, maybe I'll carry those things on and do better for the next person I feel like, is not going to betray me. Right. But again, let me know how y'all feel. I just wanted to say that real quick. I just want to get that off my mind. I just wanted to spit my piece real quick on that particular subject of top 5 reasons men cheat, because a lot of women ask this question as it's almost like when we talk about relationships, if I'm out at a conference or a relationship panel event or something like that, even if it's a virtual event, the number one question women want to know is why men cheat. Number one question women know is why. Why do you do it? Why do men do it? That's what we want to know. Why? Like that's what women are saying. So it don't matter about this and kids and money and it don't matter. Women want to know why do men cheat? So I just wanted to break that down as best that I could, and I really want to know how y'all feel. Let me know y'all's perspective, because I want to hear your feedback on this and really chop it up and back and forth. Because again, some things may not be on a person's list. Some things may have been left out for some people. Or some people may say, hey, these things rang true in every word. So Clarence, let me commend you on that. Whatever you feel, I want to know and hear how you see it when it comes to this particular topic of why men cheat. And as I said before, grab your shirts, guys. Natural Born Leaders, man. If y'all out there, man, grab your shirt, man. It's on maletranslations.com, man. Please support the brands. Please support the mission, because, of course, as a man, it's almost like you have to be a leader to be different when it comes to doing things that make sense nowadays. Man, y'all already know, man, you get so much clout, you get so much credit for being a fool or being somebody that's just doing something for the likes and for the clicks. But to be a leader in something different, to say, hey, listen, well, I'm making my own path, y'all follow me instead of me following the herd. If you want to express that visually, man, grab your shirt, man. Your Natural Born Leader shirts, we got them in different colors: reds, blues, blacks, whites, and show your love and support, man. We're gonna see y'all next week, man. Again, it's the Male Translations Podcast, where we're breaking down the difference of what men say and women hear, giving men a voice, giving women insight on relationships, the men's voice when it comes to relationships. Okay, so again, right or wrong, these are some of the reasons. Let's chop it up. Let me know how y'all feel. Make sure y'all go to YouTube and check out all of the videos, over 300 videos of content, man, that we have. Posting videos almost every day. Been a while. Like I said, I've been busy this past couple weeks, man, but we're going to be right back at it, man. And so, yeah, man, thank y'all for y'all time, man, showing love and support. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, and stay healthy, man, out there in this world. And we're going to see y'all again, man. Keep showing love and support, and I'm going to see y'all on the other side. All right, keep being who you are. Take care. Peace.